Welcome to GLHF, the world's first podcast in video games. We are here on the moon on Mr. Bezos' newest expedition, to put gamers in space. I'm so excited to be here and to be on the moon. It makes me so truly sad and overwhelmed to see the Earth up there.
Why does that make you sad?
Well, if you think about it, there's a bunch of stupid UI stuff popping up in front of it. But if you look up there at the Earth, we're up there right now, sitting here, but over there. And it's just this tiny thing, you know? It's like that picture, the pale blue dot. Have you ever seen that picture? Carl
I have.
Sagan
I guess
talked
you've
about
got
it.
a more kind of existential view because I'm just looking at you and the
Right.
ground, kind of. But you're going to be kind
Yeah.
of staring at Earth, confronting your own mortality for the whole episode.
Yeah, potentially. Well, it's not only my own mortality, but kind of the mortality of all humanity, which is what's so important about going to space and why I'm such a huge supporter of Mr. Bezos, as you said, sending as many people into space as humanly possible so they can be moved by the curvature of the Earth. I don't know. Did you watch that? Did you see? I was at the gym on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Running, and you know how some old treadmills have like a normal TV connection? Someone had left CNN on, and I just let it go, and I watched all those ladies go up into
Yeah,
space
that was a
and
huge-
come right back down.
That's my biggest topic for the day, is that
Is it? That's amazing.
trip.
Okay.
But
What
first,
do you think about it?
First, I have a question based on what you just said, which is
Okay.
does thinking about space make you feel existential dread?
Yeah, I don't know if dread is quite the right word, but I don't know. Have you ever have a telescope and like looked at Jupiter in real time, like actually seen it?
Yeah. Or maybe I can't remember if it was Saturn or Jupiter, but I've done that, yeah.
Right. There is something unbelievably I couldn't pin it down as like good or bad, dread or joy or whatever. It's just this gigantic feeling that overwhelms me when I look at like a planet. Just the scale of I've never even looked at like a galaxy. I want to get a good enough telescope and go out into the middle of nowhere and see a galaxy with my own eyes. I feel like that would be even crazier. But yeah, I definitely get whatever you want to call that feeling, that big old feeling that you sometimes, when you realize that things exist and you're like, what's going on? How did this happen?
Right, because it
anything?
takes you out of your bubble where you're just thinking about like doing the dishes and what's for dinner.
Yes, yeah,
You know?
exactly. And I could right now send
Makes you
myself
realize
into
that,
an
like-
existential spiral if I wanted to,
Yeah.
just by thinking about it.
Because
It's a
dishes
pretty
and
crazy
dinner are
thing.
such a like subjective concept that we've created because of like how we specifically evolved and the planet we specifically live on, and all like
Yes.
all these tiny little factors add up to this life that we just take for granted and do every day and get so absorbed in we forget that we're just out here in nothingness. But I think this is an interesting question because ever since I was a kid, which I read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as a child for some reason when I was like 10.
I've heard that's a good book, you know?
It was good and it was funny, and it was also like in this era where I was like a rabid reader when I was in elementary school. I was reading everything all the time, even though I didn't understand a lot of big words.
Wait, can you throw down like your top 5 elementary school books that because like people always read
Oh my gosh, I wish I
Hatchet
could-
or whatever, and
I wish
the
I could
Boxcar Children
remember.
or whatever.
I wish I could remember all of them because it was really just, I would be reading like 5 or 6 books at a time, and I would carry
Damn.
them everywhere with me, and I read books through all of my elementary school classes. I never paid attention for a second. But
Do you think you would have ended up smarter if you'd paid attention, or did you end up smarter because you read a bunch of books?
I was
You
definitely,
probably ended up smarter
I was
reading all the
definitely
books.
smarter because I read the books. Because what I was saying
Yeah.
is like I didn't understand a bunch of the words if they were words I hadn't heard before, but it gave me a really good sense of just intuitively understanding what words meant, because when you're a kid, you're so good at just picking up on context and like assuming the meaning of stuff. And so I would always do really well on those vocab tests where you would have to like match synonyms. I don't know if you remember this. They would do these vocab tests where they would show you words that like kids at your grade probably don't know, but you would try to like match what they meant. And I always scored
with context and stuff.
No, it was just the words on a page. It was devoid of context. But I think they were just trying to test your vocab and like test how many words you knew. But I always did really well on those, purely guessing based on like the parts of the words that I'd seen before. Just because I just read so much that I like started to understand what different like prefixes and stuff meant.
How come you said as a kid we're really good at picking up on context? Do you feel like you're not so good at assuming not even definitions, but like assuming meaning and context as an adult?
Well, I guess
do you think adults are worse at that?
Maybe it's partly that you're more willing to do it as a kid. Now my struggle is I can assume things based on context, but I also know that I can just look it up, and so I just want to look it up so I actually know. And so that's my problem with learning Japanese, is that sometimes I'm like, I wish I could just learn Japanese like I learned English when I was a kid and just read stuff and not care if I don't understand some of it. But now when I try to read stuff in Japanese and I don't understand a bunch of words, I just want to immediately like look them up and make flashcards and like memorize them.
There's got to be research on that, like the best way to learn a language, right? It's got, I would imagine, because you probably play you put Genshin and stuff in Japanese. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I feel like that type of stuff is probably closer to a good way to quickly learn a language.
For sure.
Like fully immersion type shit, right?
Sometimes I'm able to just immerse myself in stuff. It works better with like movies and video games where I don't have an option to like rewind it and listen again and like figure it out, because I just need to like get the input and try to understand what I can and like let the rest of it go. And that's the hard part for me now, is I don't want to let it go. I want to know exactly what it is. So yeah, it's better with it. I think video games are actually the best because I can't replay the dialogue. I can't go back. I have to just like move on. Anyway, what was I talking about? I was talking about reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And there's I don't remember a lot of the plot. I should read it again. But I know there's a machine that they go into. I think it might be a porta potty or something funny like that, where you go in and this machine...
funny, like one of those funny things you can go in.
Because it's like
calling a porta...
It's
I just like
comedy.
calling a porta potty one of those funny buildings. There's like buildings that are funny. Porta potty. It's funny.
Am I wrong?
It's like going back to what we talked about last week.
The ones that are called honey buckets? That's just funny. That's pure comedy right there.
Pot o' gold. We got some pot o' gold down here. I see those all over the place. That's a good one. Porta potty puns are big business for sure. So
I assume that people were calling
they went
it,
into a porta potty.
Is there like people that call it a honey bucket? Like that's what they call a toilet anyway, and that's where that comes from?
No way. No. Anyone who says that they do that's absolutely lying. I don't believe that for a second. I could believe that porta potty is I bet you porta potty's like Kleenex, where it's technically a brand, porta potty.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you kind of blah, blah, but no, nobody's calling a toilet a honey bucket. They call it the toilet. They call it the John. They call it the
little YouTuber's room, as you were saying last time.
The little YouTuber's room, right? They call it maybe the there's one more where like the throne, but nobody's saying honey bucket. No way. First of all, what does that even mean? I'm gonna go to the honey bucket. People are gonna think you're doing something different than going to the bathroom if you say that.
I think it's just a little bit funny because what goes in the bucket is not in fact nice and sweet like honey.
Yeah, but at that point, you could just call it the Jolly Rancher bucket. Like anything that's nice, you could call it that.
Yeah, well, you
plus
can
bucket.
Make your
There's
own
no
brand.
deeper meaning. No. I don't want to make a brand. I'm saying honey is not especially toilet related, right? It's a bad name.
Anyway, so in the book, you go in the honey bucket, and it shows you the size and scale of the universe. I don't know what it does exactly, but it like makes you understand how small you are in the grand scheme of things. I think it like zooms out from Earth to like the whole universe.
Right.
what's it called? Like a fractal, like goes out and out and out. And everybody,
I love those.
The joke is that everybody comes out of there with like this terrified look on their face and like has an existential crisis for the next few days. And I remember,
as one does, coming out of a honey bucket.
Reading that as a kid. This is gonna sound so like pick me, I'm so special, but I never have felt like that about space. I still don't feel like that about space. Every time I see like media about space that's like that, where it's like, oh, we're so small, or like I read a lot of sci-fi stuff. I play a lot of sci-fi games. I love those themes because it does the complete opposite for me. I've never felt more at peace with like the world and the fact that I'm gonna die than like realizing how tiny we are and like what a miracle it is to be alive. It makes me feel good. So,
yeah.
I've just always thought that was interesting, that I feel like your reaction to the hugeness of space depends a lot on your mental state, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, well, now I have to interrogate some of that, because I guess what I'm curious about is then, because I think I would agree that there is a real like existential comfort in recognizing that you are a sort of small energetic blip in this giant cosmos of whatever the hell is anything anyway. Like something about the scale of it is nice to know, like you are here and you are part of this thing, and it's like everything's going to be okay in a way, like it is all happening and is going according to plan in some sense. Mm-hmm. But I guess what I want to know then from you is, like, if someone points a gun at your head, I shouldn't say this because we're going to get demonetized, sorry. If someone points a water gun at your head and says, right, see you later, in that 1 second between the see you later and squirting you with water, so to speak, what are you thinking? This is great, this is fine, the universe. No. You have no mortal dread? What's going on?
I'm not saying I'm never scared of death ever. I'm actually very, very terrified of it, especially the better my life gets and the more that I like figure things out, the more I'm like, oh, I'm sad, I don't want to leave eventually. But that's literally what it is. That's
really funny though. Like now that things are going good, I'm like, now I'm kind of attached to it.
Right.
Which is fair. It's fair.
So it's definitely my biggest fear. I'm a human being, but I feel better when I guess like consume a lot of sci-fi media about how small we all are.
Yeah. So the just the knowledge that the moon is there and is a physical thing you can stand on doesn't sort of give you a sense of because I think part of what it is, I'm making this up as I go, but I think maybe part of what it is this idea of like, it's sort of the ground that you're standing on in like a human being social in my life kind of a way is when you realize the scale of the universe, it kind of shifts, because you can't engage with the dishes if you don't think your life is important, right? And engaging with Jupiter through a telescope reminds you that your life isn't inherently, I should say, important. And so I think it kind of shakes the ground that we're standing on. I don't know what the word is.
I guess it totally
or
depends on what you mean by your life being important. I think that the fact that I exist at all and get to do the dishes every day is like there's so many layers to that. Like I was saying, of like stuff that had to happen to make that a thing. And like that's so unique and interesting in itself. And so I literally do my chores every day, like Animal Crossing style. I do the dishes and I feed the cats and I wash their little bowls and I give them a pet, and I'm like looking out the window at the sun being like, this is a miracle. I sound so corny.
So you're like that person who's on you're flying on a plane just going like, wow the whole time from takeoff to landing, because it is an unbelievable miracle.
Right, but in my
miracle.
life,
Listen,
I'm looking out the window every day going,
yes,
holy shit. I went on a walk yesterday looking around at like all the flowers, and I'm like, yes, what the fuck? I get to be alive and see this. That's seriously.
That is absolutely a good thing. Because the reason it's good is not because it's like, oh, it's a trick to make you feel good. Like, the reason it's good is because it is true. Like, all of those feelings are actually like the most true thing, which is that it is a miracle, that anything exists at all. Maybe. I mean, I guess we don't really know. But
it's crazy.
Yeah, I guess it's interesting to me that it doesn't make you, like, it doesn't bring your mortality and sort of I don't even know how to describe it, but just that feeling of like realizing that anything exists and there's no reason for anything to exist, but it exists for some reason, or does it? And like, what could any of this actually be? We don't know. And so obviously what your perspective is just like, listen, there's some sort of experience happening here through me. It's all of this experience is happening through this brain that I have, and I'm just going to be grateful that it is, because it's not so bad, you know?
Exactly.
At least if you get to go for a walk and pet a cat.
So I'm still very scared of dying. I think about it, like I said, I think about it more the happier I get in life, which is interesting. Because I'm literally like, I have more to lose, I guess. So,
but you don't have any like
I haven't figured that out. I haven't figured out how to not be anxious about dying. I still don't want to die.
Right, you have a total acceptance of things existing and the beauty of life, but you don't have an anxiety you don't have an existential anxiety. It doesn't stress you out, or it's not even stress, but like, it doesn't overwhelm you not to know what anything is and why anything exists and what anything means or doesn't mean. That doesn't stress you out not to know any of that stuff.
No, because I know what it means, which is what I make it mean. And that's like so fun and exciting that I get to do that every day.
Let me rephrase then. It doesn't stress you out not to know how anything exists, like how that even happens, or why it happened. Mean, that doesn't stress you out at all.
On a like,
or it doesn't overwhelm you. Again, stress is, because it's not necessarily a negative feeling, but whatever it is.
It's definitely weird to think about if you're talking about like on a physics level, like why anything is here. I guess I don't think about that very much.
That's what I think talking about is physics, or you could say religious or spiritual, I guess, if you want to go that direction. But I think for me, I would say physics is as close as we've gotten to any kind of answer.
I don't have much to say about that, except it's fucking weird.
When you look at Saturn, you don't think about that. You think about, this is fucking incredible. That's the feeling you get, which is so fair.
Probably
That's
primarily,
so reasonable. Okay. All right. I just wanted to kind of get a little bit to the bottom of that and where we both fell on that line.
So deep in the intro, but there we are. That's just the kind of stuff that happens when you're standing on the moon. You start thinking about that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm so excited to be here, to be on the moon, and it makes me so truly sad and overwhelmed to see the Earth up there.
Is that a quote from something?
Nope. Just that's off the dome, baby. I mean, it's a quote from me in the game.
Right.
You know?
I just thought maybe you were referencing something. Because I do want to talk about Katy Perry in space. I did say it
like it was a reference.
I do really want to talk about Katy Perry in space.
Yes. I'm very curious your thoughts about this. So let's get into it. Cue the music. You came in like a firework. Anyway, go ahead.
Did you know? Okay. We'll get into it. But she apparently... I don't think there's video footage of it. I didn't see any of her apparently singing once they were up in space. She just like a cappella sang a little bit of What a Wonderful World.
Yes, I can't, all I can, because I was watching it with the subtitles, because, you know, treadmills are loud, and all I saw in the subtitles was the news anchors going, Katy Perry's going to sing in space, and then one of them said, oh wait, I think she is, and then there was a pause, and then they all said, is that singing? I can't tell. That must be a new song. So I don't know if it maybe wasn't very good, or just the microphones weren't very good, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think while they were up there live, the news and stuff was hearing them through the radios. What a Wonderful World.
That's what's going through your head. You're walking around the street and it's that song on loop in your head. I see trees are green. Uh-oh. Oh. Look, we died. We failed to restore oxygen to the settlement.
Okay, so what I was saying.
So yes, Katy Perry, something. Oh yeah, she sang What a Wonderful World, which is a truly beautiful song, a goated song, I would say. So good choice on her.
It's pretty good. It's just really funny that that's what she did.
Yes, Katy Perry is extremely cringe, and that's okay. We all have our role to play. But it is funny that that's what she picked.
She's very not aware of how she comes across in a way that I think is fascinating. Like I don't think she has much of a sense of how she comes across to people at all, which maybe is just like celebrity brain disease because she's not around normal people. I don't
know if you put in her position. I think we briefly touched on like the Justin Bieber thing, but whatever. If you hear him talk about what it's like to be famous in the way that he was, it does seem borderline impossible to maintain an actual self-awareness. Not to be normal, but you don't have any way of gauging if what you're doing is good or bad, because everything you do, there's a million people telling you it's bad and a million people telling you it's good. Yes, this is true. And so there's not even a feasible way to do that other than just listen to your own heart, which is of course why like famous people and celebrities eventually become, I guess, probably pretty cynical or like cringe, Yeah,
I have thought about how hard that is to gauge, like when you have like millions of people commenting on you all the time, how it's basically going to be impossible to gauge if they're having constructive criticism or not, because like there's moments obviously where a bunch of people are criticizing a celebrity for a good reason. And then we see all the time, there's moments where like some kind of crazy rumor is spreading or like people are caring way too much about their personal life and like just being cruel. And an equal amount of people are saying horrible things to them for a reason that actually is not valid. Yeah. So it would be really hard to tell when to listen, basically.
Right.
So you just have to rely on your own judgment.
Well, your hope is that you have like friends and family with really good relationships you've known for a long time. But if you don't have that, which a lot of people don't, if all of your friends are post-fame friends, you're totally screwed.
Yeah, if they're all just like yes men.
Because we all, like the way that we judge if we're doing good or bad is by listening to the people around us, and trusting them. And if all those people get replaced, you really don't have a way. Which is that's why you have to like become Catholic or whatever, or pick some sort of whatever these fucking people are doing, Scientology.
That's when you have to become Catholic is interesting.
Yes, have to. I want to emphasize have to. There is no other option. Mm-hmm. You look at Jupiter once and you go one of two ways. You either go pick flowers and think about wonderful world, or you become Catholic. There's two types of people in this world. Yeah. There's memes and there's me's, and that's it. So yeah, I totally agree. Katy Perry is cringe. But
I never really.
It's hard to falter for that. I feel like
I never heard anything about like who she was as a person until the last few years. Like whenever she was coming out with these songs that everybody hated, because she came out with that song that was like, "Women are awesome" or whatever it was. It was like
so funny.
It was like. The cheesiest thing I've ever heard. And that's the kind of thing where I'm like, I almost don't care who you are. I don't know how you could listen to that and be like, yes, this is really good.
It was so bad that I almost assumed it was intentional. Obviously, like the story there is she worked
like
with...
a parody. It sounds like an SNL sketch.
Yes. Which, I don't know. That's fine.
I'm looking up the lyrics right now. What is it called? Woman's World...
Yes. Yeah. If you say the lyrics to the chorus, it's going to get stuck in my head for the rest of the show. So
I'll just recite it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. She's a winner, champion, superhuman, number one. She's a sister. She's a mother. Open your eyes, just look around and you'll discover. It's a woman's world and you're lucky to be living in it. 'Cause baby, we ain't going away. It's a woman's world and you're lucky to be living in it.
Whoa. What's the chorus?
That's it. It's a woman's world and you're lucky to be living in it. I don't think I've actually heard the chorus, to be honest, because I think I just saw the verses in like TikToks and I didn't go listen to it.
She's a winner, champion, superhuman, number one.
I will say the cover of it kind of rocks. Like her doing this sexy pose with the robot legs is honestly awesome. I'm into
I
that.
don't know if I'd have to picture it, but I trust you on that.
She's in a bikini top and she's got robot legs and she looks really awesome. So
I did
I'll
see
give her
that picture of her husband's penis. You ever see that?
No. Who's her husband?
Orlando Bloom.
They're still together?
As far as I know, yeah, and they were on.
I guess I knew at some point that they were together.
He was totally nude, and he was boating or paddleboarding or something, standing up in the sun. She was on the little boat with him, and he was just nude, and it was just hanging out. He was just, not even out. It wasn't
Wait,
out anything. He was just being a human being. He was totally naked.
I never heard of that. You mean this was just in public, and this was somebody else taking a picture?
I mean, I don't know if it was in public or if it was like a nude beach or if it was like a private beach and somebody snuck on. I don't know the context at all. But yes, he was not inside and he was completely naked. He looked good, I would say. And he was out there having a great time. So that's all I know about Katy Perry, really.
Well, I wouldn't know about that. I don't look up stuff like that.
Okay. Well, try it. Anyway, space. They went to space.
So they went to space.
You mostly want to talk about Katy Perry, right? Because there was other people on this spaceship.
There were other people, yes. I didn't really hear any of them say anything more substantial than Katy was saying. But I didn't even realize until now that, like, I guess how many missions this Jeff Bezos's dick ship has done, because it does look exactly like a penis, speaking of penises.
Yeah, and the way that it moves somehow feels very penile. I don't know why, more than any other rocket. But yes. Like just something about the way it lifts off. There's like a steadiness to it that just feels very penile. I don't know what it is, is what it is. But
yeah,
I think it's crazy that he put his fucking girlfriend on it or his wife, right, or whatever. He was like, yeah, babe, it's fine. It's a rocket. Well, I've done like 10 of these. Just get on there. No big deal.
She's probably done it multiple times at this point, right?
Has she? You think she just rides along like as though he has like a nice car?
It's been on like quite a few missions, I think, which is probably why all these rich women felt comfortable doing it. But
well, this was number 10 or 11. I don't know. I just feel like it would be like I saw that they cut to Oprah, and Oprah's like, I assume with Gail's dad, and they're like fucking crying because you're looking up at this tiny thing and you're like, that's like my best friend is disappearing into space right now. And I feel like that I couldn't do that. It would be really hard for me to like put someone that I love dearly on a rocket ship and just watch him and be like, hopefully it doesn't blow up. Because
first of all, I think part of it is the overwhelming confidence that billionaires have because they're so disconnected from reality. I think Jeff probably feels like nothing could possibly go wrong. And
I don't know.
It's also like a big vote of confidence in his system to send his wife up there. He's like, look, my wife is a sacrifice. I trust this enough that I'm blasting her up there.
I mean, so far so good, I guess. The fatality rate on rockets has to be like pretty high. Kind of like with presidents, you know how like presidents is like the highest mortality job ever just because there's been 50 of them and 4 of them have been shot. It's like on rockets, I bet you that the percentage is way higher than any other like activity.
It's risky.
Though somebody on the news did make the argument that like it's possible that the drive over to the rocket place on the highway was more dangerous. I don't know if that's true. I doubt it though. We haven't sent that many people to space. I don't know. I have to look it up. But,
I don't know what the percentages are, but it's definitely dangerous.
Seeing Oprah look up and cry, I was like, yeah, there is something really scary about watching that, I bet it's actually scarier to watch it than it is to do it. Because when you're doing it, you don't like assume you're about to explode. Like we have this like kind of weird sense of immortality.
I don't know.
You watch someone do it, and you're like, damn, they could explode. And that's why everyone watches it, right? That's why they put it on the news, is because everyone's like secretly hoping it's going to explode, so they'll be able to say that they saw it.
That's one perspective. I certainly think
that is one perspective. I bet you that's mostly true. Not that we're hoping in like an earnest way, but I think if there was a 0% chance of it exploding, 1% of the people would actually be watching it. I don't think anyone would care if it was absolutely guaranteed that it wasn't going to explode. And that's really messed up. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I really think most of the reason we watch it is because we're like, I wonder if it's going to blow up, you know? Just so we could be like, yeah, I was there when it blew up. I mean, it's going to happen anyway. I might as well watch.
I'll say that.
But maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm off base.
Katie definitely didn't seem scared. I think that, and this is what I'm saying about maybe you reach a level of richness where everything is always going your way that it like doesn't even cross your mind that something could go wrong. Because she was up there posing for her phone camera, like definitely acting not like somebody that a few seconds ago thought she might die, you know? She was chilling.
Okay.
She was like staring soulfully into the lens, holding things up to the camera.
But I mean, it is a little self-selecting, right? Because if you were someone who was going to get scared, you wouldn't have ended up going on the rocket in the first place. So it's like, maybe like becoming that rich and famous makes you the type of person that isn't afraid of anything. Like, what is it? Something, and he doesn't afraid of anything? Master Chief? Anyway. Do you know what that is?
No.
Master Chief something, and he doesn't afraid of anything? Whatever, it's like an old 4chan meme. Even if you were scared, I feel like our desire to look composed and to take advantage of the moment for the sake of social media is kind of, like you see it when there's like shootings. People like take their phones out and start filming just in case. And I feel like that urge now overwhelms the survival instinct. I think our urge to make sure we have some sort of thing we can post and like make
maybe
our record
also
label
because
happy.
I think that they all paid for themselves. So she spent all this money primarily, I think, to promote her tour or whatever. Because did you see that she was like holding up her tour set list on the camera in space?
I did not see it, but that was my assumption, is that the record label was like, yeah, this will be part of the promotional thing.
So I think it was just, it was her mission the whole time to be like, okay, we only have a couple minutes when we get up there. I have to pull this little daisy out. So she's holding a daisy and looking soulfully into the camera. And I guess that was supposed to be a tribute to her daughter, whose name is Daisy. So she's like looking at the daisy and looking into the camera with this like love in her eyes, looking like she's about to start crying, but not really, because it's like the look that you're fake about to start crying. And then she pulls out the tour set list that's like printed on the tiniest little piece of paper on a little butterfly and shows that to the camera. And that was so funny to me, because that's like, it's such a self-important moment where you're like, people care so much about the songs I'm going to be performing on my tour that they're going to freaking not only like, is this going to be an amazing moment because I'm showing it in space, so I'm already making a huge deal out of it, but I'm going to print it on this teeny tiny paper so that the fans are going to have to zoom in and feel like they're like part of this secret reveal of the set list. It reminded me of...
Do you think it was her idea?
Oh, I don't know. It definitely could be like a marketing team.
That's what I thought. She was like, gun to your head, you better do this or we're going to pull your whole tour. And she was like, yeah, totally.
But it reminded me of a few years ago when Taylor Swift like was accepting a VMA, I think it was, and she announced that she had a new album coming out, like as she was accepting her award, which there's layers to that too. So first of all, she was pretty sure she was going to win because she planned to announce this album when she won. Which is not like a huge deal. It's not like the VMAs are that big of a deal. But so she's pretty sure she's going to win, and then she's going to use this moment where usually you're just like thankful to even be there, thankful to get the award. Not that I care that much about award shows, but whatever. But she's going to use that moment to be like, I know that you guys love me so much that you're going to go feral over me just like hinting that I have an album coming out soon. When like she comes out with an album like every year. It's like not that interesting actually, but she has this like extremely smug look on her face, like she's about to reveal something that's going to change everybody's lives.
Listen, and this is maybe just me being the type of guy that I am. I think that's way better than going up there and being like, thank you, I'm so grateful. And that maybe I'm just a jerk, but I like when giant celebrities are like a little bit smug. I think that's kind of fun. So I support it. I'm okay. And I don't like Taylor Swift at all. I have no interest in her music or anything like that. But I don't know. Like, you would rather her just go up and be like, thank you to the people. I don't care. Do something weird.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's
not to defend anything. You know, it's all like you said. It's all just like the whatever.
It's all
the
silly
VMAs,
and performative anyway.
I don't have an issue with that. it worked. She sold a gajillion albums, so.
Yeah, it's just
I think stuff like that's
that was a funny
fun.
moment to me because the Swifties were obviously like losing their minds over it, but as a non-Swiftie,
everyone
I was
else is like
she just like hijacked the whole awards show because she thinks that her album announcement is so world-shattering.
Well, it's like you said, it is world-shattering for the Swift. How did you feel when Kanye went up and said that Beyonce had the greatest video of all time?
Am I gonna get canceled? I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what I'm saying. I would rather something happen than nothing happen. And to me, just going up and saying thank you is nothing happening. I agree that if you don't, if you're not in the whatever, it's like, who cares? But at least something's happening.
For sure, for the
different.
Entertainment value, yeah. I'd rather something happen.
Things happening is cool. It's not hurting anyone. Well, you can argue about the Kanye thing, I don't know, but it's not really hurting anyone seriously. So I say go crazy. Announce your album, girl. You do you. That's my opinion. I don't want the Swifties coming after me. Can you tell that I'm trying to just,
yeah,
leave
there are a
me alone.
lot of them. There's a lot of them, and they're very passionate. I remember at the award show when she said that, then it was panning to the crowd, and of course there's like people starting to cry about it.
Well, that's a good counterpoint, isn't it? I guess she was right to think that it was important because people cried.
Well, exactly.
So fair enough.
But that's what I'm saying is like when you have that many fans that are up your ass so far all the time, you do just start to think maybe I'm one of the most important people in the world.
Is there really no person, no artist or something that if they announced an album in that way that you wouldn't be like, holy shit, that was so cool? You don't have anyone like that? Because I feel like I do. If Limp Bizkit went up there and was like, new album coming, I'd probably cry. Not Limp Bizkit, I'm just making a joke, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it is like a very meaningful thing when you really love an artist, I suppose. I was just, because it popped into my head, I started thinking about all of the like artists that mean a bunch to me.
Maybe I'm a hypocrite.
And I guess if I was totally Kool-Aid drank on T-Swift, I'd probably be pretty like, this is great.
If you're a fan, you're
like,
excited. I'm just saying that like, in general,
for sure.
The reason it's cringe is because not everybody is your fan.
Well, and if you're on the outside, then you are just like, okay, girl, relax.
Yeah.
This is not that important, but how do we get out? I thought we were going to talk about the rocket ship thing. I feel like it was just the Katy Perry thing that was important about that. Is that correct?
Pretty much. She went up, she came down. She kissed the ground when she got back after she was in space for like 3 minutes.
Did she really? Is that really space? I guess they probably go like past the technical line. And let me describe
Katie's exit from the spacecraft. It lands, and first of all, I thought it was so funny that the audio, because you're from the ground live, they could only hear like the radio audio, which sounded horrible from inside the capsule. And
how come they haven't solved that yet?
I don't know, man. I think
maybe
because there's like radiation and stuff, and it's like only certain signals get through. It's like that's just the best
I think it's like,
way that it works.
Because it's like when I'm flying planes around, you have these headsets, and the audio is just like, and you're like, it's just there's no way we can't. This hasn't improved, but I'm sure there's a bunch of technical reasons. And I guess it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But anyway, so she comes back down.
But so in this horrible radio audio, once the parachute deploys and they're just like floating to the ground, all you hear is, I'm pretty sure all the girls inside were like screaming with excitement or like, wow, I can't believe we just did that or whatever. But it sounds like they're screaming bloody murder, like they're all dying.
Guy parachutes. There we go, the drogue parachutes.
Just free falling right there until those drogues came out.
And then next will be the main parachutes that get pulled out.
Hear that screaming inside the capsule?
And all 3 parachutes reefing, and they will slowly,
as they're just like floating down on the parachute, and then they land, and it's a pretty big jolt, even like with the parachute when it just lands flat on the ground. So I hope they were like strapped in.
20, 30 miles an hour, you'd imagine. Like that's,
yeah, and they just land straight down, like plop onto the ground.
They're on their backs, I suppose, right?
I don't know what it's like when they're...
Like the
it was a
seat
pretty small
arrangement
capsule. I would think they would have to be sitting.
Yeah, but like leaning back. Because like when they take off, surely they're like pointed up. Like their heads, you know, or
Yeah,
maybe backwards.
I don't know.
But it would absorb the force better that way in any case. But did they land? Was it the Earth that they landed on, or was it water?
It was ground. It was flat ground.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
I guess the parachutes must be getting pretty good.
It looked like a big enough thump that you could have some vertebrae problems or something after that. So we'll see.
Yeah, sign a waiver, I guess.
But
you gotta
Katie-
take it up with Jeff.
Steps out of the capsule. She's got her perfect wand curled hair, and her full face of makeup, and she steps out, and she's still holding the little daisy, and I don't know what the point of this was. She holds the daisy up to the sun and kind of looks at the sun with the same look of like love in her eyes, like she's about to cry. And then steps down onto the ground and kisses the ground, which of course, in order to do that, because she's all made up in this little outfit and her makeup and everything, she like very carefully is pulling her hair back, making sure not to disturb her foundation, and kind of throws her hair over her shoulder and very lightly kisses the ground one time, just a little peck. And then stands up and does her little interview where she says, "I just feel so connected to love right now," which I'm sure she like wrote that before the whole experience.
Yeah, the more you tell me, the harder it is for me to defend her lack of self-awareness. I feel like it was just tough.
Yeah,
I don't like.
it
How
really
do you
is
do
fascinating.
that and not realize like that's a little much?
It really is fascinating to me. Like,
I don't know.
like I wonder what she feels when she watches that clip back. Does she think, "Oh, I looked so
Right?
good"?
Does she go like, "Oh my god"? So it was really
She's like, "Oh wait,
'Cause-
my waist is so snatched and my makeup looks so nice, and I'm glad
Well,
I
and I
didn't
guess-
disturb my curls."
If 100% of people you talk to leading up to this are telling you this is amazing, it's the first all-woman
Exactly.
thing going to space, and you're incredible, if it really gets that hyped up, I mean, people hype me up for things that are like, for just like, you know, I posted a good video, and then I post a video and I think I'm God. And so you could imagine if you're going on a rocket ship.
This is
and
why
people are
we need
hyping
to
you up
make
like
sure
that.
to just still be constantly insulting each other forever, because we need
That's
to
why
stay
I'm
grounded.
trying to tell you. Yeah, you have to keep bullying me. It's really important. I need to be surrounded by people who bully me, because people, not the people listening. You guys, you can relax.
Right, not the comments.
But my friends, I'm not listening to you people. But you, ma'am, you gotta keep me in check. Okay, you gotta.
I'll try to think of
we
some
gotta stay
things.
relaxed.
I'm just not a bully at heart. It doesn't come naturally to me, but I'll try to think of some things.
You just don't. Yeah, you don't have to force it. But you know, it's good to make fun a little bit. I liked there was a comment on the last video that was like, "Austin, I just want people to be clear and say what they mean. Also, Austin, all conversation should be purely innuendo." It's like I totally did say both of those things. That's good bullying. I appreciate that. Because I don't want to end up being Katy Perry coming out of the capsule kissing the ground. You know?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was very funny. Just more and more things seem to be happening in the news that really seem like SNL sketches or like Onion articles, but it's real life. This is the real world that we live in.
Yes. Yeah.
Very
the
similar
news.
vibes to the beginning of COVID when they did the "Imagine all the people."
Oh my God, so good. Listen, I don't think anyone actually is against them doing that. I think everyone is. This is a hot take, but I actually think all the people who say they're against it are glad that they did it so that they can hate on them having done it, so that they have some. It's the same thing as like watching the rocket.
No, exactly. It's very
exploding.
funny.
I think it's important for those types of things to happen sometimes so that we can all go, holy shit. And so maybe in a way, Katy Perry is actually kind of playing the role of like the court jester, unintentionally maybe. And it's like an important function. This is how I felt when I was a manager of a restaurant. I was like, you need someone for people to hate on and to make fun of.
Exactly.
And
I think it's less
so it's important.
court jester and more Marie Antoinette.
Rip. Remind me what Marie
them eat
Antoinette
cake.
did. She said, "Let them eat cake," but I heard that was fake. Oh yeah, Kirsten Dunst.
Right. I mean, I think that didn't actually happen, but that was the vibe that people got from her.
So you're saying, Kate, we should cut off Kate? I can't say that. Sorry. Never mind. Back up. We're fine.
I'm saying perhaps
we should cut off Katy Perry's funds so
I'm
that she
saying
has less money so she can get back
maybe, allegedly, hopefully, it may inspire some kind of revolution, but you didn't hear that from me.
to because of Katy Perry.
Partly.
You gotta be careful. You're gonna be part of the bourgeoisie pretty soon, so you gotta watch your back.
I'll never be part of the bourgeoisie because we're gonna insult each other into humility, is what I'm saying.
I don't think they care about your temperament. I think it's purely a matter of income, ma'am, unfortunately. So,
Well,
rip
who knows?
is what it is. That was a weirdly long conversation about space. Like it was almost sort of felt overly relevant compared to like most of our. I guess it was like last
this was
week,
like a really focused
played Minecraft,
episode.
and we talked about Minecraft the whole time.
We're trying a new thing where we like maybe plan topics and like do episodes that make sense.
It's funny because when I was going to start this, I was going to tell you I literally have nothing to talk about today. I have been so busy that I haven't written anything down, and so yeah, thank you very much. It was
so
nice
maybe
to be led.
in the last little bit here we could talk a little bit about the comments.
Okay, yeah. Paul, what do you got? Any good ones this week?
A lot of validating responses about Chicken Jockey and Jack Black and the fact that Jack Black is mostly not funny, which I don't think I would have gone that far. In the episode, I didn't really want to say that outright because I know a lot of people love him, but it was...
I think I said it outright. It's probably why people felt comfortable saying that.
So, I don't know. I felt a little bit validated by the comments being like, yeah, he's not really that funny. But a lot of people were praising Tenacious D, and I realized I actually have not listened to much or known much of Tenacious D. And so I went and watched a couple music videos, and they were fine, is what I'll say. And I can understand enjoying it, and it was fine. I like the part where he goes dooba dooba doo 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 dooba doo doo. I had heard that little part.
Sounds like Jack Black.
The little the dooba fluba. I had heard that little dooba fluba bit before, and I didn't know that was what that was from. So I am enlightened about that now.
Okay.
And I also thought the couple songs that I listened to sounded exactly like something Charlie Day would write in Always Sunny, which I can understand. I can understand the humor in that. They all kind of sounded like the Nightman Dayman song, which I love. So I get it. I get liking Tenacious D. I'm not going to be a Tenacious D fan from here on out, but I understand it.
Okay.
And I accept.
Do you like Weird Al?
I kind of despise Weird Al, and I know that that's going to get backlash, but I despise is a strong word. I don't think it's funny. I don't think parody songs are funny. I think they're cringe.
No, they're not. Thank God, because I would have had to go on another rant that everyone would call me a grump because I even Tenacious D is too much for me.
Even as a little kid,
parody songs.
Even as a little kid, I would listen to Weird Al and be like, "This is stupid." It's
the same thing as Jack Black and Will Ferrell and all these people. I know you probably like some of these people, but like Will Ferrell, Jim Carrey, all these people, Weird Al. To me, they're all in the same group of.
Jim Carrey is weird to lump in with that, though.
Totally disagree. No, it's Weird Al and what's that? Not Zoolander. What's that thing he did where the animals, Jim Carrey? He's doing all that weird stuff.
I mean,
faces.
I guess I don't like the pure, silly physical comedy as much. But Jim Carrey's done a lot of legitimately good, funny, interesting things.
How many is a lot? 3?
I mean, he's freaking Truman Show. That was awesome.
Okay, 1. And then there's the other one. Eternal Sunshine.
Yeah.
And what's number 3?
I don't know.
Thank you. Okay. That's my whole point.
I haven't even seen. I haven't even seen enough to be able to tell you.
Here's my hot take. Do you agree or disagree with this? Adam Sandler is funnier than Jim Carrey, and I don't think Adam Sandler's funny, but he's funnier than Jim Carrey. I appreciate him more.
I don't know. I don't think I can agree with that.
Okay. Well, there you go. Now we know. That's what everyone was waiting
anyway,
on.
Anyway, what the hell was I talking about?
Tenacious D
Weird Al,
comments.
Weird Al, I just can't do it. I know so many people are like, he's a legend. I don't get it.
He is a legend. I think that's fair. He's like the only parody musician who has actually gotten really popular.
Right, but the only reason that he got so popular is because, because like YouTube didn't exist, so it's not like anybody could do that. It's like he
That's so true.
like he was the one.
He would never. Yeah.
He was the one that was doing it, and that was what was available, and so that's why. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was just.
Yes.
He
Actually,
was the
that's a great point. It's
for
like
parody songs.
exactly. I think that's a great way to put it. So, all right. Well, we agree on that at least. That's nice. He seems like a lovely man, obviously. I mean,
Yes,
no hate,
I'm sure he seems like a lovely person. I just
like you know whose songs are funnier than Weird Al songs? Katy Perry. I would rather laugh at those. Those are more comedically
yeah, she's got
valid
that
to
song
me.
about fucking an alien. I mean, there's a lot of really good material there.
Yeah. So
Katy Perry was one of these artists that I listened to when I was let me look up when her album. Let me look up her discography real quick. This is a Katy Perry deep dive this episode.
I mean, like California Girls and stuff are all those are club classics in a sense. So everyone liked California Girls back then.
Yeah, I remember
Long, tan,
listening
fit,
to
and ready.
her album One of the Boys, which was 2008, so I was 13.
Is that I Kissed a Girl?
I think so.
All right.
So I was 13. And I remember thinking, for some reason, when I was listening to her at that point, that she was like an indie artist, which was not the case.
Like I remember used to thinking Ashley Simpson was like
I
an
thought I
indie
discovered
musician.
Katy Perry in 2008. Definitely didn't.
I mean, you was before her huge blow up, but yeah, I Kissed a Girl was on top 40, so.
Hot and cold.
That
You're
was
hot and you're cold.
Oh
You're yes
yeah,
and you're
that is a
no.
good one. That's a classic.
I don't know, and I don't remember any of the other ones. But
No?
but so yeah, I discovered Katy Perry, and it was one of these artists that I listened to and thought I was like being so bad because like I Kissed a Girl sounds so like
girls, yeah.
scandalous. And I remember
In
also
2008, that
I was also
GSA was
listening
just getting
to
going.
I was also listening to Lily Allen at this time, and she would like actually swear in her songs. And
yes,
so I
she
would
has
like
that song.
listen to her in
Fuck
secret.
You very much.
Yeah. And that one's so
Isn't she
so
like,
funny because she's talking about like George Bush, right? So she's like "fuck you," which is so like alternative and edgy and funny of her to do that.
to say that fuck George Bush?
Yeah.
Wait, what year was? Oh, that must have been pre-2008. Well, no, George Bush was still president in 2008. He was collapsing the housing economy, or the housing market. Oops, little mistake, little oopsie.
Anyway, I guess so. We've been hating on a lot of people. Katy Perry, Taylor Swift.
No, you've been hating on them. I've been defending these people. I'm doing my best to field it all, and unfortunately you have too many valid points.
I'm sorry, we've switched roles this episode. I guess I'm hating on
That's
people.
okay. Listen, I hate on the general public. You hate on rich and famous people. So what does that say about us? Uh-oh.
I know I'm gonna get the
Marie
most.
Antoinette.
I know I'm gonna get the most pushback for Weird Al. So I apologize in advance. Like I said, I'm sure he's a great, lovely person, and I totally support you if you love him. It's a matter of taste. Tastes are different. I do love
Well, and it's weird
some
because you can't even be
comedy
like his
songs.
music is good because it's just other people's music.
Exactly.
So all you're saying is, are the lyrics good? And they're definitely not. I'm fat, you know it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that I liked about Prince is that Weird Al said he kept bugging Prince to do he was like, can I please do Raspberry Beret? And he said every time Prince would just look at him and then turn around and walk away.
That's correct. That's
which
the
I
correct
respect.
reaction.
Yes.
Oh
Michael
my
Jackson
God.
was into it. That makes sense that Michael Jackson would like Weird Al. That somehow fits in his whole story.
Do you think the
with that
artists liked it, or were they just like, this is only gonna,
You think he
help
was
further
paying
cement
enough?
my legacy?
That's a good question. Yeah, at some point it would have flipped to the latter.
Because maybe there's a
Weird
little
Al
bit of
would have been
honor
popular
in
enough.
being popular enough to be parodied by Weird Al,
I don't know. Yeah. I haven't actually looked into like what was his career, like how did he get started, and who like gave him the money to license the
kinda
songs
wanna
in the first
see-
place.
Maybe our homework, we need to go watch that movie where Daniel Radcliffe plays him.
Oh yeah, I
I did
kind of
want to watch that. I was a little bit curious.
Well, listen, you're a movie review mem now. I think it's so funny that we are, and I know that you're going to hate that I say this, but we're like two gaming YouTubers with a podcast, and the one thing we never talk about is video games. I feel like if I was a fan of us, I would be so annoyed, because I'd be like, I want to know their thoughts on all the new games. We just literally never
have thoughts
even
on
play them.
games. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't.
We have thoughts on rocket ships, Katy Perry, Weird Al, existentialism.
Yeah, go look at the kind of stuff I play on my channel. I don't have thoughts on video games.
That game you found, that indie game, looks awesome.
Jutaro.
I don't remember what it was called. Yes. Holy shit.
I love weird little games. Let me see.
Any other comments? We really only talked about the Jack Black stuff. I don't know if there's anything else to respond to.
So yeah, I appreciate the validation on Jack Black. I just wanted to shout out the person that, because you told everybody to share their like age, sex, location, which like dox themselves.
Okay, everyone was doing that, and I was like, did I ask for that? I have no memory of asking people for that specific of information.
But you know what? It's also
so weird.
Their decision, so I don't blame you. I think you were pretty obviously joking. But one person did say that they were 17, which scared me to death. Don't watch me if you're 17, please.
What, 17-year-olds? No, it's fine. Everything's fine. You can be 17. Listen.
That's so scary
17.
that there could be minors watching me. Why
is that scary?
Because I say the F word.
Oh, I see. Yeah. What is 17? If like a 10-year-old, we need more 10-year-olds watching us. No. We can influence people. Come on, it'll be good. I get kids watch my channel. I get sometimes parents talk to me and say, we think it's really funny because your content is almost family friendly, but then once every 3 episodes you just say the phrase dick and balls, and then I have to like kind of either explain to my kid why I'm laughing or like kind of hide it, and so it's good. It's nice. I know your content now has the potential to be like 100% clean. Like you could make it entirely clean. I don't have to click those like you have to click the things being like what kind of content is in this video before you monetize. There's not very many of those I have to click anymore. And it's cool because it's not intentional. It's just kind of where I've ended up. But back in the day, I was talking about some naughty stuff. I don't want the responsibility. I just don't want kids to watch me because I want to be able to say dick and balls as much as I want. And not even think about it. I think your content would be good for the youth. I'm just going to say it. I think more kids should watch you. It's probably a better influence than like Jake Paul. Yeah, no, exactly. Like think of it's not even Jake Paul now. They're on to Andrew Tate when they're 11. So I think Mem is probably pretty high up on the fucking good influence list as far as I'm concerned. You're going to give me a big head. I'm going to start kissing the ground and stuff. That's good. Honestly, better you than most of the people who are out there doing it. So, and this is how it starts. I should be famous. I should be really famous. Last note about Jack Black, and then we'll log off. But I did go check out his gaming channel because somebody said he had a gaming channel. Have you seen any of this? I have not. It's one of these things where every time a celebrity makes a YouTube channel, obviously because they have the resources, they just hire people to help them with everything. So like the setup and the editing and everything. So there's a lot of footage that he's filming himself, but I'm sure he had people helping him edit and produce it and whatever. And it only ever lasts like maybe a year when a celebrity makes a YouTube channel, usually much less than that because they just don't keep up with it. Because nobody, even celebrities, realize how much time you actually have to put into a YouTube channel. Everybody thinks it's easy, which it is easy and fun on a certain level, but it takes a lot of time. It's the time that people don't actually understand. Yes. But so it only ever lasts like a little bit, and that's the thing with Jack Black's is it's like there was kind of a year where he was posting semi-regularly on what was supposed to be a gaming channel, but a bunch of it was just like random vlogs and like footage of his family. And a bunch of it was... And then they're like, whoa, why isn't this going viral? I don't get it. A bunch of it was footage of him going places and playing pinball, which I just think is funny to start a gaming channel that seems like it's going to be about video games, and then you just play pinball the whole time. Yeah. In real life. That's common to have celebrities that think that they like video games, but don't act... I feel like I'm constantly running into people who are like, oh yeah. It's like the thing with... Robert Pattinson, they're like, oh yeah, Final Fantasy VII, whatever. But like, there's all of these like almost video gamers amongst famous people, but then like they only actually like one game. Maybe that's just how it is. Anyway, a tangent. Continue. Jack Black Gaming Channel.
But he did have one single funny bit that I'll concede to, which who knows if he thought of it. I hope he thought of it. But which the comment was referring to, where he has a video that starts with like a little bit of a let's play, and then he like tears down the screen, and you see that his setup, the way that he set it up, instead of just having like a cropped webcam in the corner overlaid on the gameplay footage, it was actually him standing up behind a green screen with a square cut in it for his face, and then replacing,
that's pretty good,
putting the game onto the green screen. So he was like physically up in the top left corner because he was standing there. So that was one single funny bit from the Jack Black Gaming Channel that I just wanted to say. I agree. That was pretty funny.
Props to Jack Black.
It made me want to think of like what's the most convoluted streaming setup I could possibly think of, you know? Like how can I make this way more complicated than it needs to be? Which maybe I already do.
You have stuff like that in your future, because I saw that stream where you were like standing up being like, hello kids, today, and like it's a whole setup and the screen, and then you click the thing and there's a laugh track so you're getting gradually more complicated. I do keep adding things
to it. I've been doing a lot of PowerPoint presentations in the beginning.
And you made this like coin. I was seeing all these people talking about, I have coins now, and I was like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I have a cryptocurrency. You're behind on my stream lore. That's okay. But
I should probably invest now, right? Pump and dump.
If you earn membucks now in my stream by being in my stream, and then you can spend them to like put stuff on the screen.
But it looked like you just earned them by saying, give me them.
No, you earn them by being in the chat, and then I added a command that lets you give membucks to each other, which maybe is a mistake. Because you just earn them over time, but then people were like sending them all to one person so that one person could buy the stuff on the screen. Which is pretty smart, honestly.
That's very nefarious, yeah. Hey, look at that. That's communism right there. Let's work together. It's not communism, it's actually just like working together.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. It's actually kind of not anything, because you're giving all the wealth to one person, but it's for the greater good.
We're accelerating wealth inequality of membucks.
But so that we can all be entertained. All right, that's interesting. I don't really understand how that works, but cool.
So yeah, I guess that's all I had to say today.
Same.
Okay.
There you go.